final exam review. So you guys have your final exam next week. In this video, we are going to go over the first half of what you've learned this school year, and then tomorrow we will go over the second half, which is all about systems and inequalities. So your final exam is worth 20% of your grade, so you're going to want to make sure that you try very hard on your final exams. All finals will be in school. There are no online final exams, so you will be coming to school to take your finals. So in this section, what we're going to do is look at how to solve by hand, and then I'll show you how you can do it in the calculator, and you can pick which way you prefer. So in number 1, to solve this equation by hand, I'm going to start by reading the directions here. So number 1 says, get rid of parentheses. There are no parentheses, so that's done. Step 2 says, take the letter and move it to the left. So that's going to be a minus 8p, minus 8p. 10 p's minus 8 p's is 2p. Then we bring down the minus 14, and we bring down the positive 4. The next step, it says move the constants to the right. A constant is just a number, so negative 14 becomes positive 14. That leaves you with 2p equals 18. The last step it says is divide. So I'm going to divide by 2 and divide by 2. So my final answer is p equals 9. Very easy. So now we're going to do that same idea, but we're going to use Desmos. So what Desmos says, first step, make sure the letter is X. Desmos is programmed to only work with the letter X. So we're good, we have X's. The next step that it says is type the left side into Desmos. So I'm going to go to Desmos, and I'm going to type in 4x plus 6. And then Desmos says, type in the right side. So the right side says negative, parentheses, x plus 4. So now I'm going to move my graph and find where they cross. The answer is the spot where the two cross. My answer here is always going to be the x because I'm solving for x. So the x number of where they cross is the number negative 2. So my final answer here is x equals negative 2. Not too bad. So I'm going to do one more with you, or we do one by hand and one with Desmos, and then you can pick which way you like more for the last ones here. So let's look at number 3. Give us some steps. So in number 3, I'm going to erase my check mark so we can try it again. Here we go. Number 3, step 1, get rid of parentheses. The way that we get rid of parentheses is we're going to multiply or distribute to both terms. 2.5 times x is a 2.5x. 2.5 times 4 is the number positive 10. Then we bring down the 10.5. So to get rid of parentheses, we do something called distributing. Next step, move the letters to the left. All of the letters are already on the left, so I can move on. So now it's an easy 2-step equation, minus 10 and minus 10. That makes these go away. That leaves me with 2.5x equals 0.5. Final step is to divide. When you divide by the number that was in front of x. 0.5 divided by 2.5 is the number 0.2. Okay, let's try number 4. In Desmos, what it said is we take the left side and we plug it into the computer. 4.5 parentheses x minus 6. Okay, exactly like we saw it, we type it in Desmos. Step 2, take the right side, plug it into Desmos. 9.25. So now when I zoom out, what I notice is that the only thing that I see is one red line. So the first line graphed, but the second one did not. If your second line doesn't graph, the way we make it graph is just write y equals. Now we have a blue line, and we have a red line. The answer is the ordered pair where they touch. This one's very ugly. Let's make sure I wrote that right. 4.5 and then 9.25. Yep, that's right. So the answer is the x, which is the first number, which is 8.056. Okay, now I want you to try number 5. You can pick whichever method you want to use. You can solve by hand, or you can just plug the left into Desmos, the right into Desmos. No equal sign though, we're not typing in the equal sign. Just type in the left, type in the right, see where they cross. Same thing with number 6. Go ahead and try number 6. The only issue with 6 is it has to be an X, not an M. That was the first step of Desmos. So if you want to use Desmos, where you just type in the left, and then you type in the right, you can do that way. Or you can solve by hand, by distributing, moving the letter to the left, the number to the right, and divide. So now we move on to the next piece. My next piece is called direct variation. Some of you guys learned this week. Some of you guys learned this months ago. Some of you don't remember how to do it, and some of you do remember how to do it. So what this means is if you ever see the phrase varies directly, we need to set up this proportion. This proportion says we start with the y value. My first y is the number 6. Then I put it over the first x value. The x value is a negative 7. Then it says, what is the value of y when x is 28? So if we look at the equation, the y's are always the top, the x's are always the bottom. So I created, using y and x, and then another y and x, I created this example here. So now what we have to do is something called cross multiplying. Cross multiply literally means you multiply across. 6 times 28 is the number 168. Then I multiply across on the other side. Negative 7 times y is negative 7y. To get y by itself, I'm going to divide everything by negative 7. You can go in that calculator. 168 divided by negative 7 is y equals negative 24. Correct answer, number 7. Okay, let's try another one like that with number 8. So number 8, I see the phrase varies directly, so that means I need to use direct variation. The formula says start with my y value. My y is 10. Then your first x value, my x is 3. The question is, what is the x, which is the bottom? What is the x when its y is negative 25? So we're going to do the exact same thing, but very easy. 3 times negative 25 is the number negative 75. 10 times x is the number 10x. So now go ahead and get that last step. What would you do to get x completely by itself? Okay, let's move on to number 9. Number 9 says Joe's speed varies directly. There's that word. He can run 6 miles in 45 minutes. How long will it take him to run 15 miles? If I had miles on the top, I need to make sure my new miles is also on the top. How long will it take? How long is what we're looking for. So that's the letter X. So now I want you to try this on your own. Cross multiply. What is 4 times 15? 6 times X. Solve for X. So let's try that set up one more time with number 10. And number 10, it's 13 cups of flour. So I'm going to just label that so I know it. 13 cups of flour over 5 cups of sugar. How many cups of sugar, I don't know, so I put it on the bottom, will I need to make 46 cups of flour? So I want you to solve this. Here we go. Cross multiply 13 times x equals 5 times 46. Okay, go ahead, solve for x and see what answer you get for that one there, please. Moving on. There we go. Sorry guys, technical difficulty here. Okay, here we go. Functions, domain, and range. Very, very easy, but also very, very important. So what we've learned over and over again in the last couple of years is every time you see the word range, the range is the x. When I get the range from a graph, it's always the left side to the right side. If range is x, it means domain has to be y. Y is the bottom of the graph to the top of the graph. So when I look at number 11, I skipped this part, sorry guys, is y a function of x? If you see that phrase, it means check the x's. So in this one, I'm checking all of these x's. When I look at these x's, I see a 4 with an 8. I see a 4 with a 0. That's not good. This one here is not a function. Is this a function? No. Why? Because the x repeat. X's, let's change color, cannot repeat. So function means the x's cannot repeat. So now I move into domain. Domain is my x's, like we said. There's a 6, a 4, a 9, a 4, and a 2. Easy. You could put them order from smallest to biggest if your teacher wants you to do that. Range is my y's. My y numbers are 7, positive 8, negative 2, 0, and 5. Easy. Domain is x, range is y. Number 12, is this a function? The way you check to see if a graph is a function is you drop a straight line down the middle. I am goofy and I pretend this is a girl. This has 1, 2, 3 spots. She's dating 3 boys. Nope. This one here is not a function. This is not a function because if you put a straight line through it, that straight line touches the graph multiple times. So the correct answer is no. Domain, what we just said earlier is domain is x. From a graph, we write it like this. Domain is the furthest left x to the furthest right x on your graph. The left graph is the number -2. The right graph is the number +2. The left side has a closed circle, so we're going to close off our side. The right side also has a closed circle, so we're going to close off our side. So that's the domain, very easy. So that's domain. Range would have to be the y's. So here's the lowest y value and the highest y value. So my range for this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, +4. The bottom is solid, so I need a solid line. Top is solid, so I need a solid line. When you're ready, go ahead and try number 13 and 14. What we said is domain is the left number to the right number. Range is the bottom number to the very, 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 very top number of your graph. Okay, so try 13 and 14, please. So now we're almost done. We're moving into number 15. 15 is a thing called slope. Slope is also called rate of change. You've done this 40,000 times, and there are multiple ways to get this answer. First, we'll do it by hand. Then I'll show you how to check it in the calculator. So number 15, it says find the slope between 4, 5 and -4, 3. So step 1, it says label x1, okay, x1. Let's use a pen. Okay, so we have x1, y1, x2, y2. Now I take these numbers and I plug them into this slope formula. The slope formula says y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 3 minus 5 is the number negative 1. No, it's not. It's negative 2. Negative 4 minus 4 is the number negative 8. Negative 2 over negative 8 is the final answer, but we can simplify it. A negative divided by a negative makes a positive. A 2 over an 8 can reduce, cut them both in half, and you get 1/4. So the correct answer for number 1 is that my slope is 1 over 4. Not bad. 16, let's try the same idea in the calculator. So in the calculator, if you ever see the word rate of change, we're going to click the plus sign and insert these numbers into the table. So from my calculator, in the top left, I have this plus sign, and then I have a table. So it says negative 2, negative 4. Desmos. Here we go. In my table, negative 2 goes with negative 4. Positive 6 goes with positive 7. Okay, so I click the plus sign in the top left corner and I added a table. So now the equation of a line that we've used all year is y1. And then you have to use this little squiggly line, which is on your keyboard in the top right corner. And then mx plus b. But we have to write it carefully. mx, I want to 1 plus b. There you go. So now my slope or my rate of change is the m. It says it right here. It's ugly, but it's correct. 1.375. So the correct answer is 1.375. From a table. The way you can get rate of change by hand, it's the change in y over the change in x. The y is increasing 6. The x is increasing 3. 6 is the y. 3 is the x, which is the number 2. Okay, rate of change, you can go that way. I like to mess with the positive numbers, so find two numbers that are positive. If that was a struggle for you, we can go into Desmos and try number 18. Top left, plus sign, table. I'm going to type in my numbers, negative 1, 5, 7, 9, 10. Good. Okay, there we go. Those are the x's from this table. So now you need the y's. The y's from this table is negative 5, 1, 3, 5, 6. Same thing, the equation of the line is y1, the little squiggly line, m x1 plus b. Again, it's a weird slope. The slope is 0.65. 65, 65, 65. The correct answer here is m equals 0.65. Not too bad. Last pieces, slope from a graph. So let's try this one here. I'm just going to set you up. So slope from a graph means I need 2 perfect points. My first one is 2, which goes with 80. My second one is 4, which goes with 160. So now you can either plug it in the calculator, look at the steps you just did, or you could do the change in y, how much does the y change, over the change in x, how much does the x change. Once you're ready, try this next one. Here's a number. It doesn't matter which 2 you pick, you just have to pick 2. 4 goes with 40. 6 goes with 16. The number right between the 4 and the 8 is 6, and its y value is 60. You could pick any two, it doesn't matter which ones. So now rate of change, either do it by hand or use the plus sign in your calculator. Next rate of change is also called slope. Slope from a line is super easy. So this is in the form y equals, so my slope is the number that's with the x. Easy. This next one, we don't know the slope yet because y is not completely alone. To get a y by itself, we need to divide everything by the number in front, which is a 2. Now that y is by itself, I can tell you what the slope is. It's the number with x. That's it. So when you're ready, here's our last page, last and final page. All right, here we go, x-intercept. X-intercept's number right here, it's a 3. Sometimes they just write the number, and sometimes they write it as an ordered pair. As an ordered pair, 3 is the same as 3 0. Then it wants my y-intercept, which is where it crosses the y-axis, which is -2. Again, sometimes it just wants the number. Sometimes it wants the ordered pair with that y number in the back in the y spot. And then what we just said about slope is that you could use the formulas. There's lots of ways, but this one here is going up 2 and over 1, 2, 3. So the slope of this line, slope is rise over run, or you could use the calculator to plug that in. That's a rise, not a 9, rise over run. Okay, so I'm going to try one of these. There are no calculator techniques for this piece, so we just need to know it. So in this one here, it says identify the x and y intercepts. So easy. The x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. Write that down. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. I'm going to be nice and just let you write them as numbers. You don't have to write the full ordered pair with the parentheses. You can just write the number where the x-intercept is and where the y-intercept is. So when you're ready, try number 24. Easy. Last bit of today, what equation and what's that slope? This slope cuts through the x-axis, so it's called x equals. Crosses through the x-axis, the number +4. This line looks like the side of a U, not the top of a Z. So because this looks like the side of a U, my range is bottom to top. That's not true. What am I saying? Slope. Range is earlier. Sorry, guys. So because this looks like the side of a U, that means it's undefined. Undefined is its slope. So this has a slope that is undefined. A slope that is undefined with the answer x equals 4 is this line. Not bad. Okay, last bit. I want you to write down what you learned today and then what was most difficult for you. If you had any questions as you worked through these, make sure you let your teacher know so we can make sure you're successful next week. We have one more review like this, and then we'll do some practice before you take your